Hello, hello, everyone. We are here with Destini Copp, our Savvy Entrepreneur Spotlight this Friday. Thank you for joining us, Destiny.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, and we're going to have some people joining us soon. So, what are you doing this weekend, Destiny?
Just the normal stuff. My kids have a tennis tournament, so we're,
Oh,
going to be in that. And then, the pool stuff. We only have a couple more weeks of summer here. We actually start school here in Georgia on August the 6th. Can you believe it?
like next week?
Yeah. Yes, we only have one more week
Oh,
of
man.
summertime, so we're going to make the best of it.
Yay. Now you have to enjoy it.
Yes.
Also, how many children do you have?
Well, I have four, but I have two that are out. I have one that's going to Georgia Tech next year as a freshman, and then I have two at home that are little. They're 8 and 9. They're all boys.
Awesome. Yeah, all boys.
All boys. Oh my gosh, yes, all boys. They keep me completely busy.
Super, super awesome active life. So of course, as people trickle in, we will, have some things that will repeat more than once. I'll probably introduce you 1,000 times
Yeah,
so
that's
that the
fine.
people who hop in know what's going on. We have Jamila here. Hey, Jamila, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Jamila.
We should be streaming live now on the page, in the group, and a couple of other places. So people will start popping in. It's Friday. It's after lunch, so hopefully everyone's awake. No,
Yeah.
after lunch.
Yes.
Awesome. So, Destiny, do you want to tell us? So, what I'll do is I'll just let everyone know, hey guys, we are here for an awesome Savvy Entrepreneur Spotlight. Destini Copp is here with us. She is one of our savvy entrepreneurs. And
Yeah.
today she's going to talk to us about monetizing your expertise. And we're going to start off with her telling us a little bit about her experience, a lot about her experience, and how this journey has for her as an entrepreneur has been for her, and what keeps her going, what keeps her up at night, some of her challenges, some of her successes, and then she's going to give us some tips and tricks on how, if you have some knowledge that you are burning to share with the world, and then outside of sharing it, how can I make some money off of it? I mean, that's
Yes.
what Destiny is going to talk to us about.
Yeah, I'll be happy
Awesome.
to.
Awesome. If you're here, guys, give us a heart. Tell us where you're from. Drop an emoji, all that good stuff. So, Destiny, tell us about yourself first of all. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Yeah,
What's your life
I'll give
like?
you a little bit more background. We live in Atlanta, Georgia, specifically the suburbs of Atlanta, Georgia. So it is hot, hot, hot here, as you can
Oh,
imagine. But we love it. A little bit more about my background and expertise. I've worked in marketing for over 20 years. um, Specifically in product development. So developing products and services and bringing them into the marketplace. I've also worked in the online education industry for over 13 years. And really the reason why I got into that is I left the corporate world and went into online education because I really wanted to help people achieve their dreams. So that's what I've been doing over the past few years. And my focus right now, and I left my job last year, and I went into small business ownership, which it was a big change for me coming from the corporate world. Launching a small business like what I did was very different from what I did in the corporate world. So I had to kind of go in and relearn a lot of things, quite frankly. And your Facebook group is one of the avenues that I've learned as an entrepreneur to get more tips on how to be successful. The other little tidbit about me, I'm also a college marketing professor. So I have a doctorate in business administration, but specializing in marketing. So I thought when I went on this journey that all of this was going to be very easy for me. I've worked in marketing for over 20 years. I'm a college marketing professor. I teach graduate students. I teach undergraduate students, and I still do that. And I love them. I absolutely love them. But launching your own business is a small business, especially in a crowded marketplace, a saturated marketplace like what we have today is so different. So, the tools like your Facebook group and all the tools that you provide are extremely helpful for, new and upcoming entrepreneurs. So
awesome. Wow. So I can relate, right? So you have all this experience. I mean, a graduate level marketing professor that's huge.
Mhm.
And then you decide you leave the corporate world and you decide to dive into starting this small business. And it's a challenge. People probably cannot understand that.
It is such a challenge. So when I was in the corporate world, quite frankly, I managed a large organization. And I had, a lot of the stuff I either outsourced or paid people to do. When you're a small business, you don't always have that, luxury. Some of that stuff, quite frankly, you're doing it yourself. When I worked in the corporate world, we'd send stuff off to ad agencies, or we'll send something off to somebody who has this level of expertise or can do this video development. Well, I had to go and learn how to do a lot of that myself because you might not have the funds to outsource everything in the beginning.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your business.
So I help coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs create and market their online courses. So in my lifetime, I've developed about 20, online courses myself. I've managed the development of, 200 plus, kind of lost count there, but that is my expertise. And I bring in all of my marketing experience, specifically my marketing experience from the corporate world and developing and, launching products into the marketplace. I bring all of that expertise into the development of the online courses. So I really get down in the details with folks that I work with. Right now I'm running a workshop. We have, a lot of different types of businesses in there, but what we're doing, we're meeting live every single week for 10 weeks. And we also have some support groups, and we're really delving into helping them create and market their online course. So at the end of it, they'll have, a course to go to market with.
Awesome. So as you know, we have tons of different types of members in the community, different types of businesses, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, freelancers, coaches, consultants. Why would someone need to, or even think about starting an online course for their business?
There's a wide variety of reasons. Some of them might be in the service business. So let's just say that, one of my friends and somebody that I've worked with in the past has a sales training company. And what they do is they go to different locations, and their clients come into that locations and they do the face-to-face training. That particular individual wanted to bring some of that online because he had a lot of clients who couldn't travel to the locations due to budget constraints, but they wanted his sales training. So bringing that aspect online and with some support groups from an online perspective, he was able to expand his market reach. So that's just one example. We have a lot of coaches that I work with, and they've been doing the one-on-one coaching, and it's really limited in terms of how much time and how many people they can help. So what they want to do, they want to bring some aspect of that into an online course so they can help more people. And they might even bundle it a little bit with some other services like group coaching, but that's just another example.
Awesome. So, I keep telling you, I love the phrase monetize your expertise.
Yes.
So, I think that's super, super powerful. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that could, a lot of different people I think could relate to that. One person that I'm working with right now is a faculty member, and her expertise is math. So she has taught at all different levels, high school, college, all different levels. And she wants to bring that expertise online and do tutoring. So she's basically set up an online course to help folks with their math skills. She's bringing
nice
in an online environment.
Nice. So let's talk now. Let's segue a little bit into your journey as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
You told us, when you started off that, the challenge was, I mean, going from especially corporate America where you have a lot of resources that someone else is paying for. And
Yeah.
then you have to dive into either doing things yourself and learning, all these different tools. And you talked about having to create creative and copy all by yourself. What are
Yes.
some of your best practices? What do you use? What tools and stuff do you
Well,
use?
I'll tell you a little bit about what I use.
Okay.
And, there's definitely other tools out there that I would think are probably meet some of the needs that some people has. Like for my website, if you go to my website, I created it all myself. I didn't outsource any of it.
Wow.
So I really dug into it and said, how can I figure this out? So, I started working with Squarespace, and I just learned it, quite frankly. And that was something that I definitely wanted to spend my time learning, because anytime I want to make a change, it's very easy for me to go in and just change it. I can change it in 5 seconds now because I, kind of spent that time doing it. In terms of tools and tricks, like even the graphic design work, I use Canva for all of that, the business
Canva.
and that has been just a lifesaver for me. So I'm not having to outsource, every single week when I need to create all my graphics, all of my marketing material, for, blog posts or any content that I'm creating. I can just go into Canva and really do it very quickly myself.
Nice. What has been the biggest, outside of your website, because that seems like that was huge, something that you learned to yourself. What has been the biggest thing that you've had to learn to help grow your business that has made the biggest impact on your business?
Well, one thing that I would say that has been the biggest challenge for me, and I'll talk about this because I think honestly a lot of people out there can relate to this, but particularly in this crowded market. I mean, when you go out and look at trends, the online market for online businesses in general is much more saturated than it was even 2 years ago or 1 year ago, quite frankly. I mean, there's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of noise. It is much, much harder to get in front of your ideal customer. So I think, growing your audience organically for me has been one of my steep learning curves. So, as a new entrepreneur, I'm bootstrapping my whole business. I don't have a lot of money for Facebook ads, for Instagram ads, for LinkedIn ads. I just don't.
Right.
But, figuring out how I can use social media to, I'll throw in Pinterest over there, even though it's a little bit different than some of the other social media platforms. How I can use all these tools to grow organically is probably been the biggest learning curve that I've had, because you don't have that problem in the corporate world. You don't have to figure that aspect out.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, with that and having, the biggest impact on your business, how do you say, you're having a workshop right now, you're learning how to brand and build your business, and at the same time implementing all the stuff. How do you manage it all? Like, what are some tips and tricks you have for if you're able to manage it all?
No, I hear what you're saying, because, I was talking to somebody last week, and they were talking about all the challenges they have from an entrepreneur, how they're overwhelmed, how they, are trouble getting all of this done. And I would say that for the most part, I'm pretty structured in how I work, but it's a skill, quite frankly, that I've learned over, 25 years. You don't always just have these skills, but over my 25 years of experience, I've learned how to work online, work out of my house, because I've worked out of my house since 2004. So I'm kind of used to this online type of experience. But my biggest tip, if I was going to give some tips to somebody, is I would say plan your promotions, plan when you're going to launch new products and services, schedule everything out. that's more strategically in what you need to do from a strategic standpoint. And then from a tactical standpoint on a daily basis, I have my to-do list. I go in every single day, say, here's what I need to do. Here's what I need to get done. And quite frankly, I don't always get every single thing done, but I do prioritize them. And I do focus on, what's my top priority, what's my second priority, and kind of work down through there and just start marking them off.
Awesome. Since you started a year ago, what has been your biggest success with your business?
I would say just getting it launched. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but that was a huge obstacle for me, is just getting it out there. Because one tip I would say, and I fell into this, this was something that, that I did, that I would, recommend to others, that this is something you just need to, stop and get over it. But I really tried to make everything perfect, right? So when I was working on my website, I wanted to make sure I had, X number of blog posts already written. And you know how long those take. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure that I had all of this content, everything out there. And reality is, looking back on it, I didn't need all of that. I needed one lead magnet, a basic website, and at the beginning, maybe 1 or 2 blog posts, and just keep adding to them every week. You don't need a lot to get up and running. You really don't. And there's I think people stress about things that aren't as important, like their logo. Go on Canva and make it, or go on Squarespace and make it. You don't have to spend $1,000 on a new logo. Not nowadays. You really don't. You don't even need a logo. Just put your name out there. Just do it. Just do it. Just get it out there. Get started. The biggest thing that you do need to focus on is building your audience and growing your audience, because your audience will help drive your business. So I know that my business right now, and I can even say in the past 3 months, it has changed quite a bit, quite frankly. I niched down a little bit more because I felt like I wasn't speaking to my target audience as much as I needed to. So I made that change, and I made it quickly because I realized, it's a noisy market. My message isn't getting out there. I need to do something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's another, kind of another tip I would give folks.
Is to niche down, is to figure out who your target market is.
Yeah. And talk to them specifically, and if you can, use what, they want to hear and what their pain points are and where you can help them, that's going to be your customer base, and that's going to be your audience that you can market to.
Absolutely. Hi, Gabby. How are you? We have people hopping in. Nice. So, and of course, if you have questions, let us know. This is Destini Copp. She is an experienced corporate marketer and actually teaches graduate level marketing courses at the university level. And she has launched a business where she helps you monetize your expertise. So whatever it is that you love to do, or whatever it is that you're an expert in, you can make money off of that by selling digital courses, online workshops, and she is teaching us how to do that, and as well sharing with us some of her tips and tricks and a lot about her journey and what it took for her to get here. Awesome. So she's already told us, one, just do it. Just go. Just get started.
Well, still from Nike. Yes, just do it.
Just do it. Exactly. You don't need, tons. And I actually had this conversation with someone yesterday, and I was telling her, she's like, I need to do this. I need to do that. And I said, you're operating from a place of fear. A lot of the times we give ourselves these long laundry lists of things to do because we're scared to just push record on the video. We're scared to just launch that website. We're scared to even just send that tweet because we're afraid of either being judged. We're afraid of failure. And the only way to succeed or fail is to just go for it.
And the reality is, right, Michelle, we're going to fail. I have fallen so many times. You just get back up and get going.
Exactly. My grandfather, he's a retired Marine, and he actually turned 82 yesterday. And his life lesson for us was always I've learned, and he's a perfectionist, obviously, retired Marine. And so we grew up with him just being really strict and strict and strict about like the rules and how you do things. And, as you grow up, you realize, so I grew up with these very fine boundaries, very tight boundaries of, how my life was supposed to be. And so when I attended university, when I attended college, I was afraid to fail. I just lived in a place of fear. And one day I sat down and talked to him. And of course, now as a parent, and I know as a parent, your children have a perception of you that may not be real. And we sat down and he says, and I tell him, oh, Grandpa, this is what's going on. I don't know what to do. And he says, Michelle, I've learned far more from my failures than I have from my successes. And it was one of those things that I was like, oh, you can fail and be okay. But honestly, until that moment, I'd never felt that way,
That is such valuable advice. I mean, we just have to know that we're gonna fail at some point, and then just learn from it and move on.
Absolutely. And then, the other thing that you told us is that when it comes time, it goes back to that just do it thing, but there's some things that your years of experience aren't going to carry you through. You're going to have to learn new things and try new things and, really step outside of your comfort zone in order to make this thing a reality.
And just getting that mind right is a lot of times it's a mindset issue.
So what are some of your thoughts on the whole mindset of being an entrepreneur?
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up, because I see a lot of folks struggle in that area. They're scared, as you mentioned. We have a process in, the program that I teach. I believe in creating courses with your ideal customer. So this requires folks to go out and talk to their ideal customers, to survey their ideal customers. And also I recommend that you beta test your course with them, just to help co-create it with them, make sure that you're getting it right. It is such a mindset issue, right? In the beginning, people are worried about, I'm scared to ask them. These people don't know me. I'm scared to go out and find them. A lot of them are brand new to the online world, so they don't have an audience yet. So it's going back to that. How do you find them? And kind of getting over, them being scared or that fear of failure to move forward.
Absolutely. What would you say is the biggest challenge for, like you said, customers that are not in the online space and they may not even be in business, but I make the best paleo coconut cookies ever. And all my friends are asking me how to teach them to make paleo recipes. And I really think I can do something with this. What do I do, Destini? Where do I go?
In terms of building a business around that, is that what you're asking?
Like monetizing my expertise.
Yeah. So, that's interesting that you bring that up, because I do have somebody that I've worked with in the past who has a cake decorating business. So she wanted, and it's kind of similar, right, to your example. She wanted to bring that online and teach people how to make cakes online. Wow. So that is a perfect example. And not just, the cake I would make at home. She had these beautiful, wedding cakes, these extravagant, birthday cakes. I'm like, oh yes, that would be awesome to be able to learn that. But she took that expertise from her, cake making business that she'd been in business for many, many years. And took that expertise online.
Awesome.
And put a course together related to that.
Awesome. And I'm thinking of other members that we have. So we have a gentleman by the name of Brian Scott, and they have a chain of pharmacies actually in Middle Georgia, Central Georgia.
Oh yeah, near me.
Okay. I forget the name of the town, but they have his family. They have a chain of pharmacies, and they also have a new brand. It's probably been about 10 years now, called One Wellness Place, where they sell customized vitamins and nutrients and stuff like that. What would be a way for him to take this online brand, One Wellness Place, and create some type of course or workshop where he can monetize the expertise.
Yeah, so I'll give you some examples of some people that I've talked to in the past. We have a lot of coaches and in my group and people that I work with who are in the wellness industry. So, where I would suggest that he starts is talking with his customers, kind of getting an idea of what they would like. But there's a lot of different ways you can take wellness expertise online. Some people have, exercise programs that they have eating programs, online, and just, healthy eating, healthy, wellness. I want to live this, healthy lifestyle. They, have taken that online and walked people through the step-by-step process of how to do that.
Awesome. And, and the reality is that not everything will translate, right? Like not everything should be a business. And have you ever run into anything that you would say should not be turned into an online course?
That's a very good question. When you started talking about the pharmacy, I was like, oh, I don't know what I can do with that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, honest.
That was like, because that's, when you're talking about a lot of regulated stuff like that, probably wouldn't go there.
Good to know.
Definitely. That's a definitely area that you can take online. I've also worked in higher education, as you know, and, we had a lot of our programs and programs online that were even in the healthcare field, like nurse practitioners. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that you can do a lot online. I'm having a hard time, quite frankly, Michelle. Oh, no. Coming up with an example here.
No, that is true. You're on the spot, Oh, see, I just had a brain fart. Like, I had something in my mind and it's gone. It happens, right? But that's really awesome, Destini. I mean, we really appreciate you giving us these tips and tricks and sharing your journey. We know that probably your biggest success was just getting started, launching the business.
Yes.
Especially after transitioning from being, a pretty big deal in the corporate marketing world and having, huge teams and lots of resources at your disposal and, really being able to roll up your sleeves and dive in and learn. And I mean, especially the same here, coming from the corporate space where you have teams and then all of a sudden you're in a place where you're a one-man show and you're a one-man shop and you're doing it all yourself. There is a lot to learn, especially in marketing, right? Because it's constantly moving.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I have purchased courses on, Instagram, Pinterest, I just wanted to make sure, Facebook groups, I just wanted to make sure that I was learning everything that I needed to do to make sure that my business was successful. And that is, one tip that I would give out to everybody is to, continue to learn what you need.
Awesome. And so tell us about, what do you do outside of business? What is your life like?
I'm on 3 separate tennis teams this summer.
Wow.
So that just keeps me so busy. And then, of course, I love my Peloton bike. I don't know if you know what that is. Do you know what a Peloton bike is? It's a stationary bike, but they're out of New York City and they stream their classes. Another thing you're doing online, this is great what they're doing. They're streaming their classes into your home. So, and you can take them either on demand or live. And I bike about 75 miles a week too.
Very nice. And so it's inside your home and they stream the courses to you. It's like a spin class in your house. Oh,
yes. It's right there on your screen, right in front of your bike. It is awesome.
I'm begging for one of those for my birthday.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome. And so as a parent of 4 boys, I mean, of course, 2 are out of the house, but 7 and 8, you're still very much in the thick of it. Yeah. How do you manage being an entrepreneur and having a successful business with those responsibilities?
It's funny that you ask because it's been tough this summer. I'm just not going to lie. It has been so tough this summer. And I know you can probably relate to this with a little one in your house, but, because the kids are here, they're in the house while you're trying to work. So I'm always yelling, you guys be quiet, keep the dog quiet. You guys, I'm on a call, and I'm sure, a lot of people can relate to this, but in our reality, it is tough. You have to manage their schedules along with yours and make sure you get everything done. And it just takes somebody who's very organized, I would say.
Awesome. And what are some tips and tricks that you have for the juggle, for the struggle, and for staying organized in order to use most of your time?
Yeah, I schedule everything. I schedule my workouts. If I'm doing a Peloton bike, that's on my calendar. I schedule, my tennis matches. I schedule all the kids' events. If I have an action item, and I told you what I do in terms of listing all my to-do items, I schedule all of those on the calendar just to make sure that, I have time to do that. So it's kind of my work time, if you would. Everything is scheduled. I even schedule stuff on the weekends just to make sure that, nothing is missed, that everything is still getting done. And I've also streamlined a lot in my life. And I know some people might not be able to do this, but I, have somebody that comes to my house and cleans every 2 weeks. So I'm trying to outsource some of that. I have, my groceries being delivered. Thank you very much. So I don't have to go shopping anymore. And I love Amazon Prime because I never have to go out and shop. So that saves me a lot of time too.
Love it. Those are great tips. So especially for the mompreneurs or anyone who actually is busy in business.
Yes.
Have someone clean your home.
Dads too, right? I mean,
exactly. I believe in that. Have someone clean your home. It saves time. I'm going to go through these real quick. And the other one is have your groceries delivered if you can. Of course, these are luxury items, people. So if you have the luxury, do them, right? And then the third one was Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime is where I buy the majority of my stuff, outside of the groceries, right?
Awesome. And who delivers your groceries now?
Well, we have Instacart here. Yes. And so Instacart.
Awesome. It's so funny. I tell people, so I grew up with my grandparents and my grandmother, she's old school. So like every Saturday morning we wake up, we clean the house. So we were the housekeepers, right? Yeah. Wake up. My girls are older now.
Me
right?
too. When I went out every 2 weeks, that's what I had to do. I hated it. I said, I have not cleaned a house since I left my home.
That's me laundry. I hate laundry, right? Yes. So, but I knew I had the right to get a housekeeper because one day in my mid to late 20s, she says, Michelle, you're so busy. You need to get a housekeeper. I said, oh, the Lord there's all is right in the world. Right? I believe in that. And Amazon Prime, same. I haven't had the groceries delivered yet, but
you have to try it because it's not very expensive. Above and beyond what maybe I think I pay extra $10 a week or something like that for it.
If it can save an hour or two, it's like heaven on earth.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I feel like I could make that money elsewhere.
Awesome. So do you have anything else? Oh, I did have, so with courses, right? Let's go back to this whole course thing because you said something. You said, I've taken a course on Instagram. I'm taking this course and that course. And as you started off saying, like this digital marketing space is so saturated.
Right.
So 2 questions. One, what were the most beneficial courses that you took that you would recommend to the community? And then 2, when does it just become too much? When do you need to stop taking courses and implement some of the stuff?
Yeah. So both of those are very good questions. So I would say from a course standpoint, I took a course on Pinterest. I've actually done a few there. Pinterest, for my business has been so valuable because 50% of my website traffic comes from Pinterest. So I knew, again, I'm trying to grow organically, and I knew that was a tool that I wanted to focus on.
That's huge.
So I went out and really kind of delved in to learn Pinterest, if you would. So I took a course by Jenna Kutcher. So that's one of the ones that I have. And then I have some other things that I've resources that I pulled too that I thought were very, very valuable. I lost my train of thought. What was your other question?
The other one was, when do you think, it's just too much?
So I do get overwhelmed, right? I know there's a lot of other things that I need to do, like maybe SEO is one of them. Like I need to learn. I'm a marketing person, right? I'm a marketing professor. So I understand the basics of SEO. But I feel like there's more that I could be doing there for my business and for my website. I've kind of put that one on the back burner and said, you know what? I'm going to, visit that at some point in the future, because I don't want to take my focus off of what I think is important right now, which is building, creating content for my audience and working with my clients.
Understood. Totally understood. And the reason I ask is because, as you know, when we dive back into this stuff, we're all eager to learn. And the same, my FOMO, due to FOMO, I've paid too much money for too many courses, and I still have yet to get through them and implement. What are some strategies that you give your clients to help make sure that they build courses that people are going to finish and get great value out of?
So what a lot of online course creators out there do, they put way too much content in their courses because they want to provide value for their students. I'm there. I understand why you want to do that. But what ends up happening is they end up overloading their students, and their students get overwhelmed and they don't finish their program. What I liked about Jenna Kutcher's Pinterest course that I took, it was very inexpensive, number one, but I was able to get some quick wins out of it. I think I might have gone through it in one day or one weekend, which is perfect for me, right? I'm very busy and I didn't have a lot of time to spend into it, but I went through it, made the changes that I need to make to my Pinterest account, and, knocked that one off my to-do list and kept on going.
Awesome. So 1, not too much content, and then 2, provide quick wins for your students.
Yes, absolutely. That's what your students need to get, those quick wins as they're going through your course.
Awesome. Cool. So to your fellow entrepreneurs out there, outside of the awesome tips that you've already given us, Destini, what would be a final word that you would leave for them?
I would say that I understand, kind of where you're coming from. It can be completely overwhelming. Sometimes you feel like you're out there on your own. And it just, you feel like giving up. I would encourage you to go out and find support systems, like your Facebook group, Michelle, where you can network with other entrepreneurs. And even, I would even, get to know some people on even a more intimate basis. I don't want to call it a mastermind group, but a group of women that I meet with every Wednesday night. And we just get together for an hour, chat about what happened in our business this week, what went well, where do we need help. And I can't even tell you how valuable that is. So you really need that support system around you, and it will, kind of bring you through the bad times, and they'll be there for you when the good times are there.
Awesome. And with all the different people out there that could help build an online course, I would say personally, the thing that I found really awesome and different about your offering, your services is, and I keep saying it, I know it sounds like a broken record, but the monetize your expertise. Mm-hmm. I think that really sets you apart. But what would you say sets you apart from, the other course creators or the other people who will teach you how to create a course?
So a couple things that I do differently. Number one is I work very closely with my clients. And I also, in the process that I teach, teach you how to, you know, create your course. Obviously, I teach you how to launch your course. But what is some of the most important elements of this whole process is testing and changing what's not working. So when you launch a course into the marketplace, you know, quite frankly, a lot of us don't get it right the first time. Let's just be
or
right.
the second.
Or the second or the third. But that doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. What that means is your audience is different, your course is different, your offering's different, and you just need to keep tweaking and testing until you'll know when you get it right. So I teach my students how to do that, you know, for their course launches.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Destini, for joining us for this Savvy Entrepreneur Spotlight. We had a lot of people jump in and out. People were kind of shy today. No one really posted too many questions. I think I did enough talking for everyone, though.
I think we both did. You could add that also.
Yes, and anyone, you know, because we do share this a lot after the fact. Anyone who has any questions, let us know. Post them. Destini will be following the video at her. Make sure you check out her website. I mean, guys, I think it's super important. You know, I always preach about having multiple streams of income. And if you have an expertise and if you have a business, then it's a great opportunity for you to take that knowledge that you have and offer it in a different way to your clients or potential clients. You know, maybe someone they're not in a position for you to do the service for them, but maybe you can give little tidbits to help them do it themselves at a cost. So through an online course.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
Destini. Absolutely. Have a great weekend. And we're so excited to have you as a part of our community.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, guys.